Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for stopping by, where we discuss the things that are affecting men. Now, it is anecdotal, these are opinions, and I share these with you because I'd like to offer a different voice in this space where we talk to men about how they should be, how they should act. I'm not here to tell you who you should be, how you should act, what you should do. I'm here to tell you some of the things that I've experienced, and maybe you're someone that could relate. Today's video is about the fatherless boy, the fatherless man. And I don't have statistics, I don't have data. Even without a ton of research, we can probably guess the effects that growing up without a father could have on children. My father was around until about the age of 10. And when he was around, he wasn't very present. He would go to work Monday through Friday, waking up at 4 a.m. My mother would cook breakfast and lunch for him. He would go to work, get off of work, and do whatever he did after work and come back home around 7 p.m., 7:30. This was Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays and Sundays, he would mostly hang out with friends. I do remember that we played Metal Gear Solid once, and I really enjoyed that. I also remember we went biking and we were going around in circles on my school's playground. I remember that and I really enjoyed it. I also remember him dropping me off at school occasionally. I remember riding in what he called the Alligator. It was a car used for landscaping at his job. He took me to work once, so I also woke up at 4 a.m. I was really excited about that. And I remember playing in the snow on a sled. Most other memories were of him being reluctant to be in my life, me asking questions and him not having answers, not saying that he would try and find the answer, mostly just no sé, I don't know in Spanish. But I believe my father also lived most of his life without his dad since he came to the United States at a young age. And I believe my mother grew up without her father. No, in fact, she definitely did grow up without a father. And maybe my mother's mother grew up without a father. Growing up without a dad, I remember I would call him and I would cry and tell him I'm sorry if I was a bad son. Because I thought, this guy doesn't want to be around me. I must have done something wrong. And I can't recall looking for father figures in other men. I remember thinking, these are the cards I've been dealt. This is my life. So I do recall that I never needed another man to take his place. My mother could never take my father's place, and that wasn't her job. My mother was working to take care of us. That's another thing. Unfortunately, my father wasn't around to pay child support. And if I were to see my father today, it's whatever. This isn't an attack on him. And I think I have a brother and a sister in Mexico as well that I've never met. I have a brother in the United States, and my father's just not involved in any of our lives. But I do want to make it clear, if I were to see my dad, not because he's my dad or anything, mostly just because I'm over it to a certain extent. I just know that I have to move on with life. And I did a long time ago. But yeah, if I were to see him, be like, hey, what's up, dad? I would probably call him dad. It's no big deal. I know what that means. And I'm sure he knows. I would encourage the boys out there that are currently dealing with the absence of their father to come to a place of understanding that this is your life. And there are probably a lot of good things going on with your life and a lot of people that love you. Focus on the good things. That's what I did once I got much older. And in fact, it wasn't until I reached my late 20s that I started seeing the effects that my father's absence actually had on my life. And then the memories I have of my father, I'm like, okay, he probably wouldn't have solved that issue anyway. My father was a great mechanic and a great landscaper, and these were things that he had no interest in teaching me. And it's unfortunate because I would have learned a lot I wanted to learn from him. I would say that even speaking out loud now, my father would have had to be a different man in order for me to benefit from him being around. A different father. I remember him being very outgoing with his friends. He was the comedian in the group. He was a DJ. He was a videographer with the big cameras. I don't have any good quotes that I could recite. I don't have anything good to tell you my father told me. If I could change the oil in your car, it's because I learned it myself. And for the most part, I am the person I am today because I taught myself. And I say that with a lot of gratitude because I've been able to teach myself. I've been able to sit down and watch a YouTube video or read a book to learn something. It's taken longer. I remember my first oil change and turning on the car and all the oil just spilling out. And I returned to the auto store, bought some more oil, and got it done quickly and got it done the right way. And that's happened several times, actually, maybe twice. If I could have had a relationship with my father, I would have thought that a healthy one would be lots of conversation, playing video games together, maybe even sports, fixing a car, mowing a lawn, just the typical things that you think you should do with your father. And even today, it comes and goes, a feeling of, man, really? No father? Shout out to all the fathers out there that don't get any recognition other than from the family, which is the only recognition you need. But I will say, shout out to LeVar Ball and LeBron James. They are fun to watch as fathers. They really are. And, you know, it's scary. I think I'm going to be a good father if I ever become one. I am not a father today because that's how I planned it. So it's going well. But if I ever become a father, I think I'll be good. And I say I think I'll be good because I have seen and I know men who had kids and just stopped being there. And the ones I know specifically, yeah, they also grew up without fathers. And I know that when those men became fathers, they only wanted to be a father. They wanted to be the best father that they could be. And they're not there anymore. And I'm not referring to like they passed away or anything like that. They're not there anymore. So I think that I'll be a good father. And I would hope that the boys out there that are growing up without dads, and it's kind of tough to say because this is, again, just opinion. This is not professional advice of any kind. You don't need a replacement. And the people that are in your life right now, if you have good people around you, appreciate them, learn from them, and do the best that you can do. When you make mistakes, don't beat yourself up over it. Mistakes have to happen, especially if you're doing something for the first time and you learn from them. At least you can. But with that being said, I want to keep this video short. This is a new channel, as I mentioned. Don't have any subscribers. And as of right now, just want to work out what this is going to be, how the videos are going to look, what are we talking about, that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you. You take care. Until the next one.